Elvis Presley stepped into the Grand Ole Opry not as the king of rock and roll, but as a visitor facing an uncertain future. It was 1954, and Elvis was still finding his footing. Just a few years before, another legendary figure, Bill Monroe, had scored big with Blue Moon of Kentucky. But when Elvis took the stage at the Opry with his own twist on the song, using a rocking beat that was fresh and exciting, the crowd was not impressed. Legend has it that the Opry manager asked Elvis if he had another way to make a living, suggesting he should drive a truck instead of singing. The manager even went so far as to tell Elvis to stick to driving because, in their opinion, he wouldn't succeed as a singer. Yet, this was not the end of Elvis's story. Years later, Bill Monroe changed his mind, influenced by the massive success Elvis had with his version. The Opry, a sacred place for country music, showed Elvis the hard reality of the music world. Not everyone would embrace change, and sometimes even legends face rejection. Elvis didn't let this deter him. He came back to the Opry, but only to hang out backstage. He never performed there again, a decision possibly influenced by his manager, Tom Parker, who thought it would be a step backward for Elvis's career. This episode is a small but telling part of Elvis's journey, a journey marked by both acceptance and rejection, all under the watchful eyes of those who held power in the country music world. While Elvis navigated the challenges of his career, he also found love in Nashville, a city that would become a second home. One of the most notable relationships was with Anne Ellington, daughter of Tennessee's governor at the time. Anne was part of Nashville's elite, and her world collided with Elvis's in a way that few could have imagined. It was March 1961, and Anne was skipping school to meet Elvis at the Capitol building. She was there to witness him receive honors for his charity work. Anne's father, a prominent figure, had invited Elvis, aware of the young star's commitment to helping others. As Anne entered the Grand Hall, she was greeted by the sight of Elvis, well-dressed and charismatic, but the room's energy shifted dramatically when he entered. The crowd, filled with adoring fans, fell silent as if a spell had been cast. Elvis, not one to be won for formal speeches, found himself next to Anne. "I thought you were supposed to be in school," he said with a smile. Anne, knowing she had an official excuse, joined him upstairs. For a moment, the world outside faded away and it was just the two of them. Elvis, however, had to keep things professional. The governor had made it clear that Elvis couldn't perform while Anne was there. Still, Elvis managed to make the evening special for Anne, showing her a side of fame that few experienced. Their relationship blossomed over the next year. Elvis invited Anne to join him for recording sessions, and they shared moments of joy and connection. Anne's father, despite his initial reservations, came to admire Elvis. The bond between them was unique, built on mutual respect and understanding. Elvis was thoughtful and generous, sending Anne gifts like a miniature poodle and diamonds, though she eventually returned the diamond horseshoe ring after losing it. But their love story was not without its challenges. As the daughter of the governor, Anne was under constant scrutiny. Elvis's reputation, while growing, still carried an air of controversy. The idea of a governor's daughter dating a rock and roll star was not something everyone approved of. Yet, Anne was not worried about her father's opinion. She knew Elvis would support her in any situation. One day, Elvis surprised Anne with a gift, a dog named Chadwick, and later, a beautiful 3-diamond ring. These gestures were part of a life filled with love and generosity, but they also came with the weight of public expectation. Despite the challenges, there was no bitterness in their breakup. When Anne met someone new, Elvis called her and asked her to come to the studio, though she politely declined, respecting the new relationship. Elvis's presence in Anne's life was profound. His voice, with its unique intensity and emotion, left an indelible mark on her. Even years later, listening to his music brought back powerful memories. For Anne, Elvis was more than just a boyfriend. He was a source of inspiration and a reminder of a time when love felt pure and special. This chapter of Elvis's life in Nashville, marked by both triumph and heartache, shows the complex interplay of fame, love, and loyalty. It is a reminder that even the most iconic figures are human, with dreams, relationships, and moments of vulnerability. Elvis Presley, the iconic king of rock and roll, had a deep connection to gospel music that many people may not fully understand. His publisher, Judy Nellen, shared some fascinating stories about how Elvis came to love gospel so much. It all started when Elvis heard the song "How Great Thou Art" during a Billy Graham crusade. This song, which Elvis would later record and perform often, became a favorite of his. According to Judy, Elvis's love for gospel music came naturally to him. It was in his blood. He always surrounded himself with gospel singers, even when he was recording in the studio. These singers would come to his suite at the end of the day to sing, moving Elvis with their powerful voices and messages. Elvis was especially influenced by the Blackwood Brothers and the Jordanaires, a group he often performed with. While the Blackwood Brothers were talented, Elvis felt they were above him as a gospel singer, despite his admiration for them. They allowed him to stand near the stage and take a bow, but didn't let him join their group formally because of his contract. This shows just how much Elvis respected and wanted to be part of the gospel music scene. Elvis's love for gospel wasn't just about the music, it was also about the people and the feeling it gave him. He always had gospel singers with him on tour, including J.D. Sumner and the Imperials. For Elvis, gospel music was like a lifeline, connecting him to something deeper and more meaningful than just entertainment. Despite his wealth and fame, Elvis felt like he had very little. His riches didn't buy him happiness, and he often seemed insecure. One theory is that he was buying friendship, trying to fill the void inside him. This idea might seem surprising, but it makes sense when you think about how much he valued the bonds he formed with people through music. Elvis remained a proud Southerner his whole life, never forgetting his roots in Tupelo, Mississippi. The people there loved him just as much as he loved them. But two other places had a huge impact on him: the gospel music scene and Las Vegas. Las Vegas was a unique city, a place where gambling reigned supreme. It was a city that did things its own way, with casinos offering endless entertainment and low room prices to keep tourists coming back. Elvis was no different from other stars who found success there. However, Las Vegas held a special place in his heart. It was where he felt like he truly belonged as the king. Las Vegas was more than just a city to Elvis. It was a place where he could be himself and connect with his fans in a special way. The city was known for its cabaret shows, where stars would perform one-man shows that were both extravagant and intimate. Elvis was the king of this scene, and his face was synonymous with Las Vegas. Today, Las Vegas boasts an active Elvis fan club and even has a Presley Museum at the Imperial Palace Hotel. The museum, run by Jimmy Velvet, showcases various items from Elvis's life, like his clothes, personal belongings, and even a letter he wrote to President Nixon asking for an anti-narcotics badge. These exhibits tell the story of Elvis's life, including his friendship with other music icons like Johnny Cash and Jerry Lee Lewis. These items are more than just memorabilia. They represent the friendships and connections Elvis valued above all else. His love for gospel music, his Southern roots, and his connections in Las Vegas all played a significant role in shaping who he was as a person and an artist. Elvis's story reminds us that even the most famous people have deep roots and desires that connect them to something greater than themselves. Elvis Presley's connection to Las Vegas was more than just a series of concerts. It was a turning point for both him and the city. When Elvis first arrived in Vegas in the 1950s, the city was on its way down. It was a place where artists merely passed through, not stars who could draw huge crowds. But everything changed when Elvis took the stage. His shows were special. Elvis had a way with audiences that few could match. He knew how to read them, playing songs that would make them laugh or cry, and getting them to cheer loudly. His shows were like a big dinner party where everyone felt special. For just a few dollars more, fans could get a better seat, almost as if they were VIP guests. Elvis didn't just perform, he made people feel like part of something big. Las Vegas took notice. Before Elvis, the city was losing its shine. But with Elvis drawing huge crowds, business people saw an opportunity. They realized they could make money by bringing in big-name stars like him. This led to more big shows, transforming Vegas back into a place of excitement and glamour. Elvis wasn't just about the shows. He treated his fans differently than other stars. He wasn't just smiling and waving, he genuinely connected with them. He cared about making them happy, especially the young women who were fans. Elvis would ask his team if the fans enjoyed the show, which showed he valued their experience. However, Elvis's interactions with fans also had a more complicated side. At the time, it was common for stars to have relationships with the women who were his fans, often without them being married. Elvis had to be careful about this. His team, including some members of the mafia, made sure the women knew if their partners were already married. Elvis himself was careful, though he sometimes went further than just removing a fan's wedding ring. Despite these complexities, Elvis's impact on Las Vegas was undeniable. He helped change the city's image. After Elvis, other stars like Wayne Newton, U2, and Garth Brooks followed, bringing their own fans and energy to the city. Elvis showed that stars could make a real difference, not just by entertaining, but by making their fans feel valued and seen. In the end, Elvis Presley's time in Vegas was more than just a chapter in his life. It was a moment when a city found its spark again, thanks to a singer who understood the power of connection. Las Vegas, with its bright lights and big dreams, owes a lot to Elvis, the king who made it his own.